Hey, every time we got me and Jourdan on, we got to do this, right, Dan? We got to do this. Isn't that right?
That's how right. Life is, babe. That promo makes you look so much better than you are.
You are so right.
I mean, that is like as good as it
is. That's movie magic right there. That's
tell you what. Yeah. My God, look at that. Little Crispin Cruz rocking it out here. This is awesome. It's been too long.
It has been. I was seeing this before the show started. I feel like we're getting the band back together. It's so good.
Yeah, this is actually the best time of year to get this going because it's like it's next year already. It's like already happened.
That's right.
And if you wait till January 1st to kick it off, you're already behind the eight ball. I mean, everybody's working their whiteboard right now. All right. If you're starting your New Year's resolutions on New Year's, you're already out of the picture.
That's right.
I mean, you're starting from behind.
Yep.
It makes no sense. It's like you're facing the wrong direction. Everybody's on the starting line right now, and you're facing the wrong direction if people are waiting till January 1st.
All right, but listen, I got to give you are ready to go this morning. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's talk a little bit about, well, first, let me just do a quick introduction. Dan Jourdan, everyone, the sales energizer, sales guru. He's written, many different books about sales. He's had tons of experience, decades of experience in this, in his craft, and he continues to grow. And he is he's one of the best business development guys I've ever met and known. And my life has gotten better because I know the Deej. And I'm telling you, we've done a lot of work together in the past, and I owe him a debt of gratitude. So I just want to start by saying that. Dan, let's just jump into it a little bit. I mean, let's tell our listening audience and those that have decided to tune in today. I mean, let's tell them a little bit about, the Sales Energizer, your company and obviously what you do.
Oh, like anybody cares. That's listen, the Sales Energizer is it's just my brand. That's what it is. And it came about, it was just the Energizer because that's all I had. I mean, I didn't have the looks. I didn't have the athletic ability. I didn't have the grades. All I had was just some sort of energy and the willingness to be embarrassed. And so I just focused that energy on sales. And, a lot of people don't even know what sales is, because a lot of people think if you're just a sales guy, it's almost like, it's manipulative and, almost malicious. Mm-hmm. But, I have this kind of, Eastern European immigrant in your face, get it done, make things happen. Streets are paved with gold. Let's go make a career type of thing. And I geared that into sales, and probably the best definition I could think of for sales is, selling is the act of someone intellectually engaging in a future result that's good for them, and getting that person to emotionally commit to getting that result. And the best way I found to transfer that information is by over-the-top enthusiastic energy. So that's the Sales Energizer. How's that for an answer? That's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one. We're going to put that one in the books. So tell me a little bit about why, when did you decide to get into sales, Dan? When did you say, all right, this is the time for me to do this, and these are the reasons why?
The hell kind of question is that? That wasn't on the list. All right. All right, I'll tell you. I was 13 years old, and family friend came over. Somebody, by age, it was like bar mitzvah time, and so a lot of people are coming over. So you're almost a man now, and so you've already stopped listening to your parents, and so neighbors and friends of the family would come. And so we had a little conversation about girls. We used to call them chicks, but you're not allowed to do that anymore. And so we're having this idea about how to pick up girls. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And so my guy said, well, you have a book downstairs that teaches you. I'm like, where? What's going on? And so we had on the bookshelf, we had a book of the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he goes, read the first 3 chapters of that thing and you'll be all set. And I studied that thing for a year. And I don't think there was a chance for me not to get into sales after that.
There we go.
What do you think?
That influenced you. So let's move on. So tell me a little bit. What kind of goals do you have for yourself? What's the ultimate goal for 2023 or beyond? For you, for your company. I mean, tell me a little bit about where the Deej is going. Where Sales Energizer is going. Like what are you hoping for?
You know what, Crispin Cruz? Listen, people don't care about me. This is what people need to do with the show. What we're doing when people are watching. I'll tell you what they want. They don't care about my goals. You know what they care about? Their own goals and their own way of figuring out how to share what they do to other people. See, here's the biggest thing with sales. People, you have a body, right? So your body is like an amazing thing and it has bones and all that stuff, but it has like a rib cage, and the rib cage is kind of, it keeps your body and all your organs in, but it also protects like the most important thing. And the most important thing is like your heart. Well, in sales, the most important thing is knowing what you sell. And so for people out there watching, man, you got to be able, that whole stupid elevator pitch thing, don't worry about that. But you got to know exactly what you sell and what people are asking. So if I was saying my ultimate goal, ultimate goal of anybody's business, your business watching this right now, ought to be to make money. Because when you have more money, you're able to help more people. You're able to help your family. You're able to inspire, give, all that stuff. Your job for your business is to earn more money. And to do that, you need to know what you're selling and what you're giving to the marketplace. So, if I can give you anything out there watching, I'm going to say, figure out a way to, answer the question, what do you do? Very succinctly. And in sales, one of the biggest secrets is you have to answer the questions that they ask, and only the questions that they ask. But many times there's an implied question that they don't ask that you have to answer. And so what I mean by that, when someone says, what do you do? They're really not just saying, what do you do? What do you do is like, okay, let me hear that and then walk away. But your opportunity at that point is not only to answer the question, what do you do? But what do you do and for whom? And what problem do you solve and for whom? Just in the event that person themselves can use that service or they know someone who can. Right. So this is there's like a pattern. So if you were ask me, what do? I give solutions to small businesses who are experiencing problems creating more profit.
There we go.
Boom. And so if you're, an accountant, you don't just tell people, hey, I'm an accountant. What you do is you say, I'll figure it out right now. I sell a program to small businesses who are having trouble paying too much taxes. More small, and so whatever, something like that you could you could soften it up. But you mentioned the problem, you mentioned that you solve that problem, and for whom you do that.
That's great.
And if you can do that more than one time a day, you're a happy camper.
Well, I'll tell you even in this kind of subtle role play, it's interesting because when you talked about the Deej, and you talked about Sales Energizer, it was easy. It flowed instantly. Your value prop was easy. When you tried to pivot that to an accountant, it was harder. Like, you had to think about it. You had to, how was I going to position that? And so, that brings me back to preparedness, right? But I believe that you still have to have that value prop ready to go. You have to know, to your point, what product and service and value do you deliver? The other piece that was interesting that you mentioned, Dan, is questioning strategies. Like one of the things that we continue, to work on with Sales Arbiter and our clients, is that question is coming from somewhere. It's our responsibility to find out, why is that question important to your prospect? Like they're asking it for a reason. And so we have to be somewhat, detective-like to be able to understand, where is that question coming from and why is it important? And so, because there's some compelling reason on why that prospect asked you the question. And so the more that you can gather information, use this little tool called a reverse. Hey, Dan, that's a great question. I get that one a lot. Why do you ask? And when you have that opportunity to gather more information from your prospect about why they asked you that question in the first place, as you're in a selling event, now you have the opportunity to answer the question more correctly, which they kind of touched on that a little bit, which, hits a nerve with me as well.
Yeah, I mean, but you got to understand, when you're in a selling event is not when you're at a Christmas party.
Oh yeah, of course.
Not when you're just sitting there trying to make, conversation with somebody. But yeah, but understand where you are situationally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things that, and also, you say when you're at a Christmas party, at a holiday, at an event, something like that, I find that, at least for me, Dan, that's the best time to practice. Like when you really want to try to understand, the individual and even if you're first meeting them, asking yourself, okay, what disc behavior type is this individual? And then trying to match and mirror and ask good questions and interact at a high level. I mean, honestly, Dan, one of the things that I do to practice is when I'm in a social situation is, I use every social situation, whether it's with my inner circle of family or friends or colleagues. I use that time to practice to try to really engage at a high level with the individual that I'm talking to. And so, to be quite honest, I treat everybody like a prospect. That's what I do. Now, I don't know if that's right or wrong, or if you have any ideas on that, but that's kind of how I continue to practice my craft to engage with people when I have the opportunity to either first meet them, see them again, or even if they're longtime friends. What are your thoughts on that?
Hold on. This is what happens. This is what happens when you have too many Bluetooths going. So hold on. All right. Well, listen, I based on what you said, that's why you have no friends. You can't just go ahead and be closing people all day long. But no, listen, I agree, but you call it different things. People buy from those that they like, they trust, they believe, and then they have a desire to do business with. But it starts with like. So the whole purpose of asking questions is so people can talk about themselves. Heck, one of those things in that Dale Carnegie book is, the more people talk about themselves and their interests, the smarter they think you are and the more they like you. Right. So it's all the same thing. Right. And if you can have a sincere interest in the other person and their interests, well, the more, the better, the merrier. I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's how it works. The more interested you are in others, the more interesting you become to others.
That's great. That's great. So Dan, a lot, we're turning the corner now, right? The holidays are here. Things are happening. What are some of the things that you would tell our listeners, those that are watching this, this show right now? What would you tell them, a few things that they just absolutely need to do for their business to grow in 2023? Like, what are some of those foundational pieces, that if they're not doing it now, or if they're not planning on doing it in first quarter, they're going to be behind?
I'm going to give you a 2 or 3 or 10 part answer. So
I like it. I love it. It. I'll take the 2 or 3 or 10 part answer. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. So the first thing to understand is you have to have belief. Everything starts from belief. So there's 4 main beliefs, and these aren't from me. This is from Jeffrey Gitomer. But the 4 main beliefs are belief in your company, belief in your product, belief in yourself, and then the final belief, which is that your prospect or customer is better off getting this product or service from you, being sold from you, even if it's the same as somebody else, sells a thing. Because it's coming from you, they're better off than anybody else in the world. So you have to have those core beliefs. Once you have those core beliefs, then everything is possible. And then, and the third one of that is belief in yourself. If you believe in yourself that you are in the right place at the right time for the right person with the right product and all that, you have to understand how valuable your time is. I tell the story about when I first met my father-in-law. He took me to office. He's a big shot guy, and he took me to his office and sat me down on the other side of the desk. It was very intimidating. And this was a divorce situation, so he wasn't around all the time. I was like just meeting him. And he said, Danny, remember this. He says, you could take away my job. You could take away my plane. You could take away my cars. You could take away my family. You could take away my homes. You could take away everything. He goes, I can get all that back. He says, you take my time and it's gone forever. He says, time is the most valuable asset you will ever have. And as soon as you realize that, you have a chance. Do not waste my time and don't waste your own. So what I would tell people right now, with less anger that he gave it with me, is plan your flipping day. Plan it. I mean, you don't have to be as neurotic as me in my, 19th century Franklin planner. But if you could do anything for 2023, practice time blocking. I use a method, and I learned this from various, but I go 50 minutes on, 20 minutes off, and 50 minutes on. That's 2 hours. If you block 2 hours and during those 20 minutes do anything but work, but 50 minutes of total focus. And when I say total focus, I mean no emails, no phone, no distractions, no people coming into your office, nothing. And no Bluetooth people calling you on your phone while you're on a podcast. None of that stuff. You block it all off. It is astounding how much you could get done if you plan your tasks that you're going to do and give yourself focused time to do it. And now, if your focus is your 2 hour time block is, to go out and run errands and do whatever, that's great. There's your 2 hour focus. You'll get it all done. But how many times do you have a list of things to do and nothing ever gets done? Right. One of the things we do, I apologize with my voice. One of the things we do at Sales Energizer is basically I help people with profit. I have several different consultants at different things, some with sales, but one of them is a chief of staff type of things. Basically, their job is to take all the ideas of the CEO or the ideas of the owner of the business, and they have tons of ideas, big lists of things, but nothing gets finished. And if it does get done, it's like halfway. And it doesn't work because half effort doesn't create half results. Half effort creates no results. And that's what happens. And then, so, someone will start a marketing plan and then get halfway and do it a little, and it's not quite automated. It's not quite right, but heck, we got to run with it. We invested all this money and time. So they run with it. It doesn't work. And then they say, marketing doesn't work. This sucks. Everything's good. It's because it wasn't done right. And so sometimes just getting stuff done, and the way to do that is to manage your time, focus your energy, make a plan, and get it done. So that's my recommendation.
That's good. That's good. So
you know what I do?
There's so many.
Hold on a second. Chris, I feel sorry for your next guests. How are they possibly going to equal? I mean,
you're right.
Come on.
You're right. I feel sorry for them too. And I mean, it's phrases like this: half effort does not create half results. It creates no results. Are you kidding me? I mean, that's like gold. Like I actually wrote it down because
it's not create, it's produce. You can't,
produce.
See,
Thank
words
you. Produce.
mean things. Yeah.
Produce. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to fix it, but then I'm actually going to take ownership of that and pretend like I came up with it myself. So thank you for that.
You can't take that one because that one came from my dad. That's a papaism. If it just came from me, I'd give it to you.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you.
I am getting incoming calls now.
Yeah, how about that?
How do you stop the Bluetooth on your phone?
I don't know. I guess you turn it off.
I gotta ask.
I turned mine off, so then I guess I get nothing. I don't know.
It's Bluetooth of Kentucky.
Yeah, it's this new thing.
I disconnected Bluetooth. Why?
This new thing. They just came out with these newfangled, these newfangled products called the.
That's the thing. That's another thing in regard to sales. A lot of times, people and owners and managers think, "Oh, let's just get the new technology." But you get the new technology and you don't know how to work it, you're screwed up. That's the saying. That's another one of my guys. A lot of people will get onto Salesforce, which is a great CRM, and everybody wants to use it, all right. But if Salesforce isn't trained, if everybody isn't trained on how to use the Salesforce, they wind up using it just like an Excel spreadsheet, and it doesn't work, or they wind up not using it when it gets complicated. Mm-hmm. The implementation of the product is more important than the product itself.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
That's what consultants are necessary. Now, by the way, you have to keep them accountable. In other words, consultants, even like Sales Arbiter, ultimately everybody's based, it's a meritorious. You're based on how well you do. And the great things about, businesses, and we generally deal with business, is a lot of numbers are involved. Mm-hmm. And you can count numbers.
That's right.
It's not one of those esoteric things that you feel a little better when you're going on. Oh, you actually can count numbers. And when people use people like Sales Arbiter, and many times that's the main recommendation in terms of sales, man, you could just see the results or the non-results in numbers very quickly. Mm-hmm. And, you got to know if you're fixing the right things, it'll show in the numbers.
Right.
If it's not showing in the right numbers, you're just not fixing the right things. Oh, who's that? Kevin Loftus.
Yeah.
What advice on countering prospects' reluctance to commit to the sales process during the holiday season?
Oh, that's a good one. So, so basically what Kevin is saying there is, Dan, how would you handle, if a prospect says, well, you know what, Dan, it's the holidays right now. We're getting really busy. And we're just trying to close down the year. And so why don't you, why don't you send me some information and we'll circle back maybe first quarter and talk about, what we can maybe, at that point, talk about what we can maybe, probably, possibly do at that time.
Well, it all depends on the conversation you're having. If someone just, you could tell if someone's kind of just blowing smoke or not. But what I always do with this, I say, first of all, the rule of overcoming objections, Kevin, is always agree. So always agree that is their objection. You're not validating their objection by agreeing with it. You're validating that that's the way they feel or that's what they're doing. That's what they're saying right now. And, but I would just go, I say, great, listen, I understand it. We can do it after. Why don't we get it on the calendar now? If you need to change it later, we'll change it later, Nick. But how's like January 4th? I just freaking go for the appointment, just right there. And if they say no, they don't want to do that, then you can call them on it too and just say, listen, I understand people are just being nice to me a lot of times. Is that something that you really want to go forward with? And if it's not, it's okay to say no to me.
There we go. I mean, it's great. That's exactly Right. And I was hoping that's where you were going to go with it because, either go for the appointment, set up that clear future, that next step. And at that point, and then Kevin, you're selling the appointment. That's what you're doing. Or you're digging into that saying, man, I love how Dan said that. Sometimes people are just being nice to me and, they don't want to tell me no. And so is that kind of the situation here? Is that where we're at today? Help me understand, where would you like to go next? And so I just think that's awesome.
Yeah. And again, it depends. You want the same result. Mm-hmm. So you're going to get there, but use your own words. I know Kevin just happens to be the nicest guy on the planet. He's even nicer than Chris Stone. Right. I mean, he's just like maybe his dad is nicer than him, but aside from that particular family. And so he can't be as, rude as I am. But here's a secret that I learned, Kevin. Rude with a smile, but a sincere smile of love is good. You're actually helping somebody. When you ask a closing question, it's a release valve. So when you say, someone says, what do you do? I give small businesses solutions who are experiencing problems with having profit. And then I say, and if I just stop it there, there's a little conflict they're thinking in their head. So if I release it by saying, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Then you have to, look, Chris Cruz had to not, I didn't even say anything and he's nodding his head.
That's right.
Because it's like a release valve. And so when you say to somebody, you say, oh, we're going to hold off. I got it. I totally understand. Listen, everybody's saying the same thing as you. You're in the right place. Why don't we just do this and get it on the calendar? Okay, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, totally makes sense. Let me just ask you this. And I mean this because we were having a good conversation. And it's okay to say no to me. But are you just, a lot of times people are trying to be nice to me because I'm so nice. You can smile a little bit and you can get them to laugh a little bit. And then you can smooth it out and let it go. You say that, they'll set the appointment.
Yeah, we had a question from Austin Johnson also. Yeah, I have my notepad out. He says, any advice on B2B sales through LinkedIn Sales Navigator?
Oh my gosh, Austin, be a human. That's what it is. That's the problem. People, first of all, you have to have some sort of video. If it allows you to do some video on there, what have you. But I'm going to teach you the 7 magic words, Austin, and it works for everything, especially on LinkedIn. These 7 magic words are, I wonder if you could help me. But be serious. So if you start your connection on Navigator with that, hey, I wonder if you could help me. I'm looking for people who can do this. Boom. Would you be that person, or would you be able to introduce me?
There you go. And short and sweet and to the point. I got one, just the other day from this guy that's, wants to talk to me about, and Sales Arbiter, about a marketing program that they could put together for us. This thing, Dan, was Moby Dick. It was freaking, 3 pages. If I would have printed it out, it would have been 3 pages long.
What are the first 3 words?
Who's going to read that?
What are the first 3 words of Moby Dick?
I have no idea.
Call me Ishmael. It's like the most famous thing.
Okay, thank you for that. Our audience needed to hear that.
You know what I also learned? I'm going to let you go, but I also learned that 2 glasses of grape juice a day gives you the same medicinal benefits as 2 glasses of wine, and you wake up earlier in the morning when you have the grape juice.
That's really good. That's okay. That's good, interesting advice for our audience this morning.
Listen, people need to know.
Yeah. So Dan, what is your opinion, your idea on keeping any engagement that you have, especially through email, on social, keeping it short and sweet and to the point?
On keeping the engagements, initial engagements. Yeah. It's all that kind of permission marketing thing. But I think if you're sincere, you can sincerely say to somebody, whether it be email or LinkedIn Navigator, even a cold call. Anyway, you could succinctly say, I wonder if you can help me. I was checking your personal. I was checking out something about you on your website. I found a cool thing that'll help you do this, this, and this. Instead of a long email, I made this short video. Click here if you're interested. Or instead of doing that, I have a 24-hour free phone, a recorded line that you can get there. Something, a small step. So this is who I am. I saw something personal about you. I like saying, instead of writing a long email, I created this. If I created this link, and they click on the link, you've got their permission.
There we go. Just
That's great. Go from there. But it's important for it to be personal. You can't, long gone are the days that you can send mass emails and just like put their name on top, and for them to feel, you could smoke that out. You could feel that. Yeah, when you get those things. So it's easy enough to personalize it. Better to send 10 personalized emails, introductions, stuff a day than it is to send 1,000 impersonal ones.
Yep, that's right. I agree 100%. So you touched on it a little bit, Dan. And before we get to the Sales Arbiter 7, I'd like to talk to you about
Sales Arbiter 7.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to you about a little bit about process and procedures. How important is it to have sales process, sales procedures in place? If you're going to aggressively grow, your organization. What's your ideas on that? Yeah.
All right. As usual, everything I do has 5 fingers to it, so it goes all over the place.
Right.
Which is not a bad way to live, by the way. 5 different marketing aspects, 5 different approaches, 5 different jokes to use in different situations. So, first understand that not everybody wants to grow. A lot of people, you think that growth gives them this, flowery kind of, nirvana type of feeling. Growth for a lot of people means more work. More customers for a lot of people means we got to hire some more people, got to buy some more trucks. More work, more growth means more problems. And so that's not a good feeling for a lot of people. So go the other angle. What they want is generally more income. And so sell more income. Don't sell more growth. It's a different kind of feeling. I got an idea for you to earn more income without investment. You can move on there. So understand what people are buying, not just what you're selling. And the process to do that is through testing. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing in sales. What worked yesterday, there's a different buyer now. There are different people. There's a different generation of people. Internally, everybody wants the same thing. At our core, everybody wants the same thing. But there's a bunch of different rules now that apply, and you don't know what works and what doesn't work. And so in marketing and in sales, there's no such thing as failure. There's only testing. And so you got to keep those things out. So that means you need to be asking for the order every day. And that's a process. You need to be prospecting every day. And that's a process. You need to be following up every day. And that's a process. Now, the challenge with those processes, if they're put upon you by somebody else, where you are in your stage in your career, you might bristle with getting those types of of how to do it, and other people won't. That's why the people in the SDR field, when they're just getting started with all those processes, that's great because they're young and they want to take it all on. You get somebody a little older, they don't want to hire you because, you have your own set in your ways. But ultimately, that's where you want to be. You want to set your own processes and your own systems for yourself. The world is turning more towards an individual salesperson, contracting your services to as many people out there as you can. That's what a professional salesperson ultimately will wind up doing. But nothing works unless you have those processes, unless you have those systems, unless you have those guardrails to keep you active every day.
Okay. So talk about staying active. You got a new book coming out. What's happening in the Deej's world? You got one on the shelf right now that we should pull off and dust off and read again. Tell me a little bit about what's going on there from the author standpoint. Anything happening, Deej?
From an author standpoint?
Yeah.
I've got, I'm a guy that writes, lots of vignettes. And so I'm always writing. And so I have, I probably have a book or two in the can, but I just have to put them together with different things. I talk about Gittimer again. He has like 15 books. He says he never wrote a book. He just writes articles.
Yeah.
And when you have enough of them, you put them all together and then you're good to go. So, books are fun and all that stuff's fun. I'm just out there playing around. One of the things we have to remember with this business is that it's not all that serious. It's supposed to be fun. You're getting a chance to meet new people every day, and practice your skills of communication and getting people to, like it when you're hanging around with them. It's a good place to be. And it's a good time to be here.
It is. Hey, we got another question from Brittany Kirk. What can one be doing right now to get ready to start their 2023 sales strong? We kind of talked a little bit about that, but
yeah, well, listen, a lot of people don't like setting goals, but I think it's important for you to set, pretend it's 2023 right now, and it's set 90-day goals. And and then after that 90th day, go on vacation. So set your vacation right now. A week off that you're gonna get. You could call it a retreat, whatever you want to call it. But set your vacation right now for 3 months from now, and set your goals of what you're gonna do until you get there, and just do that. And I say, starting 2023 off, you ought to be doing that every 3 months for the rest of your life.
Oh my gosh, that is good. Dan, you are giving some freaking gold nuggets today. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're platinum. Yeah, that's right.
Platinum nuggets. I love it. I love it. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and jump to the Sales Arbiter 7. You okay with doing that?
The Sales Arbiter 7. Yeah, this is like the Magnificent 7. Trivia.
It is.
Do you know any of the actors from the Magnificent 7?
I do not.
I mean, even Yul Brynner?
No, I know Yul Brynner, but I don't
greatest actor in the world. All right.
Of all time.
I was watching like an old movie with Charles Bronson. What a stud. These old actors were like monsters. They were cool as can be.
I'm glad you're talking about actors because, there's no, I don't, me well enough to know I'm never the smartest guy in the room, Dan. And so everything that I do, I just take things from other people and then repurpose them for myself. But this is actually a tribute to James Lipton. And if you remember him, he would ask at the end of his interviews, he would ask, 7 or 8 questions of every one of his guests in the actor's studio. And James unfortunately passed, about a year ago. But I kind of modeled this after him because it's interesting. Like there.
Oh, that guy I remember him. That very highbrow.
Yeah, yes, highbrow. Yes.
During the intergalactic spasmodic interluders that were infused into the bathroom. Yes,
that's right. But I always enjoyed the information that he was able to draw out of those actors that would be guests on his show. And so, intergalactic spasmodic. That's exactly right. If that's not
every word had 4 syllables in it. Grant Duffy causing trouble. Oh, QBR, Monte Kia. What a nightmare, those QBR. I was watching another guy on a Zoom call in the he was doing his QBRs. He's for a larger company. I think it was Oracle or something. What a nightmare. It's just like everybody acting.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's just making stuff up and they know it. It's like guys hanging out together.
Yeah.
Everybody lies to each other and we love it.
It's like guys hanging out with each other. They just lie to each other.
Yeah, the worst thing is, your wife comes while you're hanging out and she's always like, that didn't happen. You didn't say that. That's not right. She screws up all your lies.
Right.
All right. The dreaded QBR sales dread going over every deal in their pipeline in front of an audience. Sales managers have to comment. Yes. I don't know what to say about it. It's a crappy job. I
mean, how can you say it any more clearly than that?
It's a crappy job. Here's the thing. You're earning a lot. If you're doing QBR reports for a big company, you're earning a lot of money. Now you're about, they'll give you 2 quarters and then you're fired. I got it. So there's pressure on there, but that's the price you pay. I will tell you this though. If most people, especially the older guys who are sick and tired of this, really don't prepare. And it's obvious those who don't prepare and those do. Grant Duffy, if you want to dominate, you freaking go bananas on those QBR reports. You make them more important than your customers for that week that you have to do this. You just put everything aside and they'll give you like a slide bank. You go with their whatever pattern that they use and you go over the top, above, crazy video interviews, the whole shebang. You blow everybody away on those QBR reports. You make other people, the person that goes after you needs to feel like a loser. That's how much. And if you do that, you will keep, they will never forget it. You're always the guy who kills it on the QBR reports. Yep. There you go. Intergalactic as masticator.
All right, let's go. Let's go with the Sales Arbiter 7. Okay.
Also known as the...
Because this is only... Listen, this is the reason that people are listening today is because they want to know this information about Dan Jourdan. They want to know this personal information about you.
Oh, yes.
And that's the reason why. Because
one-word answers.
Because you are truly the star of the show. It's not, this is not my show. It's the Deej's show.
As if I didn't know that already.
All right, let's go. What is your favorite word, Dan? What's your favorite word?
There's several of them. Taciturn is one.
Taciturn.
Vestibule is another.
Yes.
Onomatopoeia is another one. Yeah, I think I'll go with those 3.
Okay, that sounds good.
Taciturn's a good one, though. It means soft-spoken.
Soft-spoken. Yeah, yes. Which you always are. So I can understand why that's your favorite.
You sound very highbrow when you say, he's very taciturn by nature.
There we go. Okay, good. What is your least favorite word?
My least favorite word?
I know the answer to this.
I have a headache. I don't know. Let's see. What is my least favorite word? I like words.
There's some you absolutely do not like and you do not use, though.
Oh, swear words? Yeah, curse words. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, that's true. I don't curse. It's a weird thing, and I don't know when I picked that up, but I do not curse. Nobody could ever say a time.
Yeah,
that they've heard me curse. Yeah, I don't do it, but I'm not offended if other people do it.
Right.
But you know what happens is women will not curse in front of me.
That's good.
They just won't do it, or they'll apologize up and down if they do by mistake. And I've never asked people not to, but it's an odd
interesting.
Thing.
Okay. What's something that could make your day?
What's something that could make my day? I got a text yesterday from Van Sickle. Yeah, I can't believe Van Sickle's not on this. some guy. So what I do is I do stuff for companies that they pay me for, but for individuals, I do it for free. And so Van Sickle is one of those guys that I coach for free. Just it works out well for him because this way I don't have to keep on a schedule, just work or whatever. And he sent me a text yesterday showing him at the top of the leaderboard, and that made my day.
There we go. That's good. That's something that can make it. So what's something that could ruin your day?
Tough to ruin my day. It's tough to ruin my day. I think of everything as a challenge. It's really hard to ruin a day. Aside from, death and dismemberment.
Yeah.
That's
what it is.
You're not going to, you could ruin a minute or two, but I tell you, that's important. That's an important thing to flip. The level of which that you'll succeed in life is the speed with which you can turn a bad day into a bad minute or a bad second. When you could speed up that turnaround from like crap to let's get back on the horse.
There you go. That's really good. I actually hope they're taking notes. Austin said he has a notepad out and he was taking notes. That's a good one. What sound or noise do you love, Dan?
The birds. I love the sound of the birds. I wake up in the morning early I like to beat the birds. It's a little game. And then when they start chirping, when I'm already there, I feel like it's for me.
I love it. I love it.
Sometimes you can catch the sunrise and the birds simultaneously. And I think that's like literally God saying, this one's for you.
That's awesome. Okay. And on the opposite side of that coin, what sound or noise do you hate?
It's a tree fell on my house once. That was a noise that's
one that you don't like to hear.
Yeah. There's like a crack, and then you're like, everybody's waiting, like and then the roof gets caved in. That was a challenging sound, but it was an experience. There's a particular noise that my wife makes when she sees a roach. And it's inhuman.
Right?
Yeah. So I would, that one is, and you never know if, there's a murderer in the house or,
she's a palmetto bug. That's what they call them down here, Dan. Palmetto bugs. Yeah. That's great.
I know, but roach sounds so much more devious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I know.
A palmetto bug is just flying around. Our roach is they're out to get you. They want to get into your shirt.
They have a nice way of talking about them down here in the South. That's good. All right. And then last question. So what profession other than your own would you have liked to attempt?
Well, if I would have liked to attempt it, if I really wanted to attempt it, I would have.
Okay.
I would have. I think we're all in the same business. We're in the business of managing our own lives. And do what we love. I wanted to get married and have children. That was my job, and that was my goal. And the jobs that I've had, it was really just to earn money to support that. So I don't know that I'd want to attempt. I don't get much. I get gratitude, but I kind of know what's really important to me.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
And so that just a road to get there.
That's great. Hey, Dan, it's always a pleasure having you on, always. And I think there was just some great platinum nuggets in this show today. And I just appreciate you being on, and it means the world to me. We've been together for a while now, and you have helped me and my business grow. And I guarantee you, anyone that's out there that's listening, go on to Jourdan.com. Check out his website. Check out, the things that he does. And he is just one of the best I've ever had the opportunity to work with. And so I know that's the one thing he doesn't like, he has a difficult time taking a compliment, but so listen, check him out. And thanks again, Dan, for being on today. And it means the world to me. I hope all of our listeners and watchers got a lot of value out of today's podcast. We'll see you soon.
That was awesome. Thank you.